Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. I finally got my hands on one of these Triassic 5 gassers, and I looked at it and says, man, that's a sweet looking car, but it sure is a shame that they don't make one with real riders. So I says, you know what, let's detail and customize this thing out and have some fun. Grab your adult beverage and join along as we do this custom. Well, for those of you that have wanted to know this, this is how you remove the blister off the back of a card. Now, it doesn't work if the card is shiny on both sides. You see here that it's just raw paper. Take some acetone in a brush and brush it along the back side of the blister where it contacts onto the card. Now, you have to be careful here because if you saturate it too much and it touches the paint of the car, it's liable to take the finish off the car as well as the tampos, but it will attack the finish, so you got to be careful here. Get the cardboard wet, but again not saturated, and just keep going around the edges where the blister touches the card on the back of the card here. Once it looks like it's wet enough, then check the front and make sure that the blister is coming off the card. This should be just about enough. When you turn the card over and look at that, it has come disconnected from the card. And again, make sure that it didn't get on the car itself. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Now you can also just do 3 sides of the blister on the back side of the card in case you want to reattach it to the same card. Now we're going to drill out the mushroom post. That's at the very end of the post so we can remove the base off the body of the car. I start out with a 1/16 inch bit, and it's because it's the finest one, and you're basically just hollowing out a little more the post, the crimp over on the end of the post. Now you're going to take a larger 9/64 bit, and you're going to remove the mushroom cap completely, as you can tell by the rings there. Now we're going to go in and file down the posts and prepare them for drilling so we can put screws into them. Go ahead and enjoy your adult beverage or whatever it is you drink, and sit back and relax as we prep this car up. Now that I got the post drilled out, we're going to go ahead and tap the post. Now some people use what they call self-tapping screws. If you use screws to tap your inside of your post, good on you. I mean, that's fine. I prefer to tap the post out because then the screw goes in that much easier. Now here I'm using a 2-56 tap because I used a 5/64 drill bit. And those are the two that work together when you want to put in the 2-56 screws. Now this tap handle that I'm using is a very light aluminum tap handle, And you can get these from Second Chance Red Lines. I always test out the body and the holes that I've drilled and screws into the post and everything just to make sure that they work properly. Now there's two different size screws here. One is 1/8 inch long and the other is 3/16 inch long. The 1/8 inch screw is what we put into the smaller post in the front. The 3/16 inch screw is the one we put into the back post because it is longer. Very seldom, unless you had an accident drilling out the posts, do you have to use a washer with a 2-56 screw. But a lot of times if you use a 1-72 screw, you're going to have to use a washer along with it. Now here I've got a Molotow chrome pen refill. I started using these rather than using the large Molotow chrome pen because it's a lot easier to handle, and you can use a paintbrush or a little swab or something to do your detailing. And this Molotow chrome pen refill lasts an incredibly long time. I've had this one for approximately 6 months, and I even spilled a bunch out of it one time when the cap accidentally came off, and there's still a lot in there. And it's over $25, but you know what? If you're going to use these pens, the pens are $12 to $15 a piece anyway. So the economical side is that these refills are going to last you a lot longer. So here I use these little makeup swabs, and if you buy them at Hobby Lobby, they're approximately $8 for about a 10 or 15 pack. If you buy them off my Amazon Marketplace page, you can get 500 for about $8. I mean, there it is, okay? Hobby Lobby has a lot of stuff, but it is very expensive. If you want to save money and do this hobby on a budget, I've done all the research for you on my Amazon Marketplace page where you can go to buy products. Now, I personally don't stock these products. These are from other people's pages. I'm what's called an influencer, and I make a couple pennies off of every sale. So not much at all, but I've done the legwork for you so you don't have to search for these products. And look how fine that detailing looks. It works fantastic. Now, the lights in the back are a little bit tougher. Now, if you used a paintbrush, you could probably get a little bit more detail. I use the swab, and sometimes I get a little bit excess on the outside. I just take a pointed swab and just remove the excess, and it works just fine. I also started using these Tamiya paints. I was using testers, but the testers paints tend to gum up the threads on the bottle, and it makes it hard to get the cap off. And also, only after a few months your paint starts to go bad. So I started using the Tamiya brand, and it lasts longer and it's a little easier to use. Now again here, if you use a paintbrush with just a few bristles in it, it's going to work for you a little bit better here, but you got to have a really good steady hand. Now these little details like this on the lights and the headlights and like that, this is what's going to make or break your custom. And then once we do the wheel swap on there and we put some really cool wheels on there, if you make a custom card or something like that to go with your car, you've taken a mainline car and turned it into an absolutely impressive custom, and it looks that much better, and you'll be so much more prouder of your work if you do that. We got some more detailing to do here. I'm going to take some more of that chrome, that Molotow chrome ink, and I'm going to use this little swab, and I'm going to detail out the radiator and the master cylinder inside the engine compartment. Again, these are more little fine details that'll make your custom look that much better. Get the sides of the radiator. And don't forget to get the back side. Sorry about that angle there. Let's go ahead and get the door handle. Got to be real careful here because one little move or sneeze or anything like that and you're going to get paint all over your car like I just did. Wipe it off and then do it again. Be real light-handed there. Yep, one more time. Let's do it again. I didn't like the way it looked. That looks good. Alright, let's do the little lock on the door. There we go. Alright. Now let's do the other side. See if we can pull this off. There's a little lock. And there's the door handle. Sweet. Now let's get the master cylinder. There's a little tight quarters in here. Probably would have been better with a paintbrush, but I went ahead and tried it anyway. The worst you can do is mess up and you'll have to do it again. There, that looks awesome. Alright, well let's let that set for a while. Now we're going to go ahead and, oop, you know what? Let's do the wipers. Very rarely do I do that, but you know what? It looked like a challenge. So we got the wiper arms. Alright, let's go ahead and move on, and we'll put some new wheels on this car to make it look that much better. Here I've got the base. I took off the old wheels. I went ahead and chromed up the tank in the front of the car. I know it doesn't look like that on the real one, but hell, this is my car. And I'm going to use these beautiful Samed wheels. Check out Samed Wheels at the web address on the screen. They've got a really good selection of wheels for your custom needs, and they're here in North America, so you get your wheels quickly. The guys over in Malaysia and Indonesia and like that, they've got a good product, but it takes weeks and sometimes months to get your order. Why not get it in a few days and you don't have to wait? Check out Samed Wheels. You know, and these wheels fit in there absolutely perfect too. I didn't have to do any cutting or anything like that. Now, there's the interior and the windscreen. Now, what's wild is these little tabs here in the front and the back, they actually hold the axles in place. So you don't have to glue them in to hold them in place. And they spin perfectly. That looks great. Let's move on.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
And this is what we started with. A mainline Triassic 5 Bel Air gasser, right out of the blister. We showed you how to take off the blister with the acetone. We customized it, we detailed it, and we put some new wheels on it. And this is how it turned out. Look at how nice that custom looks. And you can do this too, and I always say that. I do these videos to show you what I do, to help you along with your hobby. And I'm there to answer your questions. Just leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you with your questions. This was a lot of fun, and I swear this thing only took me maybe 10 to 15 minutes at the most. So if you take your time and you want to make yourself a really nice custom car with new wheels or detail out the lights or the engine compartment or something, there's still a whole bunch of other things you can do to this car. You can paint the interior. You can put spark plug wires in the engine. You can paint the engine. You can do all kinds of stuff here. You can paint in the grill. You can drill out the ports on the exhaust pipes in the back and make it look super excellent. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you give it a try too. Thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. We've got a lot more videos coming up in the future, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thank you again for joining me here today. If there's something you'd like to see, put it in the comments. Thank you, and cheers.